So here you'll see this is my desktop, and as the webinar says, it's a Windows settings session. So to get started, we'd have to access settings, and I'll show you the two ways how to access your settings. The first way you could access the settings is by going to the bottom left corner, which you'll see the search bar over here. You can simply click on it and type in settings, and you'll see it's the first results that pop up, and you can just simply click it, and you'll be given your settings. However, there is a second way to do this. If you see on the lower left-hand corner of your screen, you'll see there's a start icon, which looks like 4 squares. It's usually the Windows icon. If you click on it, you'll see the power and you'll see settings right above it. If you see this, you just click on it and you'll be given the same page as we saw before. So in the settings, when you open it, you'll see things from system to update and security. We'll be first going to systems. Upon opening systems, you'll be shown something like this. Your left-hand pane, which shows display, sound, notification, and actions, all the way to about. For the first thing you'll see in display, you'll see multiple displays if you have them. For me, I have 2 displays, so you'll just see there's 1 or 2, but this isn't really that important. And you'll be able to also see a way to also switch your brightness and color. So in case your brightness buttons aren't working on your keyboard, you could simply drag the slider left to right to adjust your brightness, and it will accordingly adjust to however much you move to the left or the right. Further on, moving on, we'll be going to nightlight settings. Nightlight settings are mostly just for having a less visually straining experience, and it's usually when we think about, I guess, settings and brightness, it's usually white light. But with nightlight settings, you'll be given the option to have more warmer colors that are orange. Having this on, you could simply click on this nightlight settings, or you can simply toggle this on and off button. And if I press this nightlight settings over here, you'll be able to see the strength, which you could also move left to right. Again, this isn't how it really looks. You guys can see this on your end of your screen, but you'll see that the more strength you have, the more orange it goes to. So again, I guess this is mostly made for to help your eyes adjust at night. So it's not as more straining as white light. And if you want to have this scheduled on a timely basis, you could simply do that, or you can set it to sunset or sunrise by clicking on this button. And you could also just schedule nightlight as itself by toggling this on and off button. But if you want to have an hourly schedule, you could simply click on one of these boxes right here, and you'll be shown these 2 arrows, left, top and bottom, where you could either adjust the time accordingly or click on it manually. And based on this, either you can confirm or deny with the check mark box or this X box. And moving on, we'll be going to sounds. Again, this is more so another way to change your sound. So let's say your volume buttons aren't working on your keyboard. You could simply go to settings, and under sounds over here, you'll be able to see this setting called master volume. And you could simply drag your mouse left or right. And based on whatever you want, however much volume you want, you could drag it and it will accordingly change. And if you have any problems, you can obviously press this troubleshoot button, and it'll pop up another button to troubleshoot. And over here, it's just more so articles and troubleshooting issues. And we'll be moving on now to notifications and actions. So usually I have this turned off because I don't have really notifications coming on and off with devices. But if you want to enable this, you could just toggle it on or off. And you'll be shown, if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see all your apps that you have. So I have photos, I have settings, I have everything all the way to even Google Chrome. I guess in the scenario that you want one of these applications to have them completely off for notifications, you could just simply toggle the button from on to off, and it'll automatically save. And moving on, we'll be going to power and sleep. So two distinct settings over here would be on battery power. So you could turn it off after a certain amount of time. Again, if you want to change this, you can simply click on the box and you have something from 1 minute all the way to never. And for now, I think I'll just keep it 2 minutes. Similarly, when plugged in means when it's charging. So you could also have it turn off. And I think it's from 1 minute to never as well. And this also applies to sleep settings, which is the same parameters for 1 minute to never as well, for when it's on a charger and when it's not on a charger. And from here, we're moving to battery. You'll be able to see your applications and how much battery they use. So Google Chrome for me has been taking the most amount of battery, so it's 55%. And the whole point of this is just to show your status of your battery. And if you wanted to run on low, they could all potentially save you more time, or it can give you more time overall for your whole battery life, I guess. So to turn on your battery saver, you can automatically adjust this to either have it never on or 20%. Usually I have it at 20%. It's more so of a warning to tell me to put my laptop on charge. So you could always have it on as well if you'd like, but I think recommended is 20. And I think that's about it for battery. And now we're moving on to storage. So should be underneath the battery. So over here, you'll see about pretty much your drive, your Windows drive. So how much storage you have in total, which is for me 917 gigabytes, and I've used 536, and I have this much remaining. So I have 381 gigabytes free. So a lot of us run into issues where our laptops or our Windows devices are running low on storage. So Windows has given us the option to actually enable something called Storage Sense, which would automatically free up space, and it basically just gets rid of files that you don't need. So temporary files, files that might be renamed or possibly copied. So in order to really enable this, you just have to toggle this button from off to on, and it should run automatically in the background while you're using a laptop. That should be it for the system settings. We'll be moving on to devices now. So for devices, this is usually the screen that pops up as soon as you open it. Most people like to pair things from keyboards to mice to headphones or earbuds as well. And so to really do this, the first option you see here is add Bluetooth or other device. By clicking this, your device will automatically, I believe, it'll automatically give you the option to either decide or pick which type of Bluetooth device you're trying to connect. So over here, we have three options. So we have something from mice all the way to audio, like I mentioned earlier, so earphones and headphones. And we also have wireless displays. So this covers from monitors to TVs to PCs to basically docks or other types of displays as well. And then everything else. So something that isn't mentioned in the other two options above. And I'll press cancel. And then below, if you scroll down, you'll see the devices that you have connected. So for me, I have my mouse connected, which is my HypeSpeed. I have my two audio devices also connected. So my two headphones are shown here, and I could also disconnect them or remove them simply tapping the device name, and you'll be given the option to either connect or remove device, depending on if you're still using them or if you're not using them. And over here, you'll also see other devices, which would be like your family room TV or another monitor. From this, we'll move on to printers and scanners, which should be located on the left underneath Bluetooth and other devices. So a majority of us also like to buy printers and like to fax stuff whenever we get the chance. So really to add printers or scanners, the first option you get here is add a printer scanner. You simply click this and your device will search for printers or scanners. Usually it would just search for a device like this. So my office shit would be here. And you just simply add device after you found it. And if you scroll down, you'll be able to see about all the printers and scanners that you have connected. So I have a copy here of this HP device. After clicking on the device, you could obviously open queue, and this will show what's printing, what's not printing, etc. And it'll show the sizes as well, and even the names of the documents that you're printing currently. And let's say, I guess you want to remove this device, you can simply tap on remove device, or you can manage it to configure some settings within the device itself. Now moving on, we'll be going to mouse, which is underneath printers and scanners. So here, after opening mouse, you'll see that the first setting or option allows you to mess around with is your primary button. When you right click, usually this is what shows up. So it'd be your view all the way to personalize. But in the case that I guess somebody wants to change it from left to right, you have that option to do so by just simply clicking on this button, and you could simply just choose right. And now my right is my primary button. Let me change that back. And I guess this moves on more so to cursor speed. So in a scenario that you think that your mouse is pretty slow or it's, I guess, a little bit jittery, you could adjust the speed with the slider right here by simply clicking on it and moving your mouse either left or right. So the more left you go, the more slower it becomes, but the more right you go, it'll become more faster. So right now, I think I'm at 13. I think it's gonna increase to 14. So you'll notice my mouse is a little bit faster, but again, this will depend on if you think that your mouse is pretty slow or if it's adequate enough for your browsing. I think that's about it for mouse settings. So in the scenario that I guess you have a touchpad, you don't have a mouse, there's also settings for your touchpad, which is underneath mouse. Simply click here. The first option we get is touchpad sensitivity, and we have about 4 options. Most sensitive right here, high sensitivity, medium sensitivity, and low sensitivity. So for me, I believe medium sensitivity is default, but if this isn't really helping you for a daily basis, you could change by clicking on one of these other settings, and it should automatically adjust your settings or your sensitivity on the go. And phone, I won't be able to demonstrate this, but if you have an Android or an iPhone device, you can connect your device to your Windows or your laptop or your PCs by simply clicking this, and it just basically just show, I guess, ways of how to link your device and so on. And from that, I guess we'll move on to network and internet. Mostly, I just wanted to cover how you could check your internet status, if you're connected, if you're not connected. So for me, you'll see that I'm connected to the internet. You'll see it right here. You'll be also able to see your data usage and properties. But in the case that you want to change your Wi-Fi, on the left-hand side, if you scroll down, it should be underneath status, should be labeled Wi-Fi. And from here, you can see available networks by clicking right here. And you'll see right here the list of Wi-Fi routers or Wi-Fi names in the area, and you could connect to them and remove them, I believe, as well. I think that's it for network and internet. And we'll be going on to personalization. looks like, I guess, like a little paintbrush, but there it is. So if you want to change, I guess, your background of your desktop, you could simply choose by browsing either your own library, or you could choose something that Windows has. So you could have something like this, or you could obviously have something that you like or something that you have in your own browser, something like this, and so on. And if these, I guess, if these images aren't something that you're looking for, you can go to Browse, and you can see from your folder what you want to choose for your background picture. Here we're shown either your background can be a picture, a solid color, which should give you the option to choose from a variety of colors. So something from orange to black, or even a custom color right here by just clicking on the custom color button and dragging your mouse essentially through an array of colors over here. And you could also change, I think, the brightness, or I think the value of the brightness here, but I haven't really messed around with it. But I'm going to change it back to picture. And in the case that you want, I guess, more than one picture showing up for your background, you could simply click on the slideshow option, and then you could choose pictures for your album, and it'll automatically change pictures on a daily basis, I believe. I'm going to go back to pictures. That's about it for background. Now moving on to colors. Here's where we could choose our theme. So right now I have dark mode. I believe a lot of people have light mode since it's default. So it should look something like this on your end, I believe. It may take a second or two. It should look something like this. And over here, you could have the option to choose your transparency effects. So you could have this either transparent, or you can not have it transparent, which you'll show right here. And I'll just have this on. And over here, you'll be able to also pick out your accent colors. So you'll see here, there's like a blue tab right here. This is because my accent color is blue. But if I want something like orange, I could simply choose orange, and it should change to orange. And with this, okay, there we go. With this, I believe that is all for colors. And we will be going over lock screens. So for your lock screen, you could also have the same option to either show a picture from your own photo library, or you could choose an option like Windows Spotlight, which would automatically change since it's supposed to be a Windows pictures on a daily basis as well. So for me today, I think it's just mountains. I'm not too sure where, but you also have the option for a slideshow, and they'll also show, I believe, a collection of your pictures shown for your lock screen. Personalization settings. And now I'll be going over to apps. So another, I think, key feature that a lot of people have trouble is with applications, specifically uninstalling applications that you may have mistakenly downloaded. In the case that you download something that's wrong, you'll be able to see it here, or all your apps. And you'll be able to also see when you've downloaded them, and the amount of storage or the amount of space that is taken within your device. Over here, you'll be able to see mostly two options, either move or uninstall. Move is more of an advanced option, so you could load this into another drive, but I don't have another drive, so this option is not available for me. But in the case that I want to uninstall something, I could simply click on the application and just click on the uninstall button and press uninstall, and it will be uninstalled. And from here, we'll be going into, I believe, default apps. And over here, we'll be able to see our default apps. So this ranges from emails to web browsers. If you'd like to change your web browser, you can simply tap on web browser. And I believe default it would be Microsoft Edge, but for me, I have Google Chrome, so I just select Google Chrome. and it automatically switches to Google Chrome. And you could do this, I think, for a lot of the settings, but you'd have to look for a compatible app in the Microsoft Store if your app is not shown here. So for my email, I believe it's a mail app from Windows 10. Same thing with maps and photos, and then my music player is iTunes, and I believe I've installed that on my own, but it should be Groove Music on your end. That should be default. Another, I think, issue that a lot of people run into is that their PC usually starts up really slow. So in order to fix that, you can go to this tab called Startup here. And with Startup, I believe you should be shown all the apps that you have. So you'll be able to see the app's name and their impact and whether it's on or off while starting. So in the case that most of these are turned off, your computer should be able to boot up more faster. So for me, something like the station, it's not measured, but it's on. And I believe I left it on just because it has no impact. But if you have any apps that have high impact or low impact, you could simply toggle them on or off. And your computer will either boot them up as it's starting itself or have them turned off while it's booting up. And from this, I think we're done with apps. And we'll be getting to accounts. So from here, you'll be able to see your info. So my name was shown here. My email address is also shown here. And if you want to manage your Microsoft account, so let's say you have to change your password or something else within your profile, you can simply click on Manage my Microsoft account. And in another window, it should open something like this, where you have to sign into your account, and then you'll be given access to change things within your account. And here you also have the ability to change your profile picture by using your camera, or you could browse for one that you may already have in your photo library. We'll be going to emails and accounts. So in the case that you want to add another account for your notifications or your emails, you can simply click on this Add an Account button right here. And something like this should pop up where I believe it should show another way to sign in with another email, but it'll show my email, it'll show other emails, including Outlook, other emails as well, like Pop and IMAP, iCloud, and you can also go to advanced setup and mess around with this on your own time, but in the case that you want to remove an account, you also have that option by pressing on Manage or Remove, which I don't have the remove option here, but in your case, it might be different. But you should also see all your emails and accounts that are already linked up here. For your sign-in options over here, in case you forgot your password to your Windows device or your laptop, you can simply click on the sign-in options right here. And you'll see a lot of ways to sign in. So some computers are advanced enough to have facial recognition. Some have fingerprint scanners as well, and you have your PIN, a security key as well, and password. So if you wanted to change your password, you just click on this password right here, click on change, and then it should prompt up another menu to change your password. That's about it for accounts. And now we'll be going on to time and language. So here we'll see the current date and time, but if you want to set your time zone automatically or you don't, you have the ability to do so simply by pressing one of these buttons on or off. You'll see the time zone here. So you'll see something where it's universal time, Pacific time, which is US and Canada, and pretty much all over the world you can mess around with up here, but you'll see it here. And I guess let's just say I live in Central America. You can click on here and it'll automatically, I believe, adjust its time. It might take a little bit more time, but the time will automatically adjust once you've set and saved these settings. So put coordinated universal, and if you want to change or save your time, you could just press sync now and it'll automatically sync. So now it shows 12:44 for me, but that's because I changed it. Over here, if you want to click on your region, you simply click on this region tab right here, and you have, I believe, listings from all over the world. And if you want to change it, you simply just find your country or region, click on it, and there should be another sync option like the last page for date and time once you click on it. In the case that you want to change your language, you're also given the option to do so as well. And to change data formats, you could simply click on here, and you could always mess around with this as well. So your short days, your long days, your time as well, they could be all changed or configured over here as well. That's it for our time and language settings. And now we're moving on to ease of access. So here, you'll be able to make your text size bigger. So for me, I have 100. But if you want to make something as big as 225%, you could simply just click and drag your mouse and hit apply. And it should automatically adjust the text settings for your whole Windows PC. You can make everything bigger by simply clicking on this like I did earlier during the presentation. So I have the option from 100%, which is recommended, all the way to 175. Again, you have another option to change your brightness by simply dragging from left to right over here as well. To resize your mouse pointer, you can simply click on mouse pointer, which is under display. And again, you can change the size of your mouse right here, all the way to 15. It should look something like this. But for now, I think I'll change it to like maybe 5, just for ease of access. And over here, you also have the option to change your color of your cursor. So you have something white, it's black, something that changes to inverted. So something like a white background would make this cursor black. If you have a black background, you'd be having a white cursor. And you can always have a custom cursor as well, where you could change the color of your cursor over here, or pick a custom pointer right here and play around and press done and get that color. But for now, I'll just leave it to white. We'll be going on to color filters. So this is for people that might be visually impaired or have trouble seeing one color over another. So Windows has a built-in feature which can help with that inconvenience by simply toggling this button from on to off. You'll be able to see, I believe, more grayscale colors. And in case you have some sort of a color blindness inconvenience, you could also change right here. So red's green. For green, weak, I don't know how to pronounce it, ditronopia. Red, green, where red is weak, and blue, yellow as well. But for now, I believe I'll just turn this off. And narrator. So there's also another option where, in case you'll have a visual disability, you could turn on narrator, which will essentially, whenever you click on something, it'll basically it'll basically repeat whatever you do, in short. But you could choose the voice as well over here, the pitch, the volume over here as well. And you have audio and closed captioning, but again, this is only for Windows apps. So caption size, here we go. You have the default, which looks something like this, where you see this, captions look like this. But you also have the ability to change it as well to 200%. And it will look a little bit bigger as well. So it looks something like that. And you could do this with, I guess, certain fonts as well. So cursive, it would look something like this. Something like color as well. So I could have something like magenta text, and it would look like that. I believe that's it for ease of access settings. And now we'll be going to privacy. So over here, a lot of companies or Windows mostly tracks what you search. So I have a lot of these turned off. I believe all of these are on by default, but if you want them to, I guess, not use your data, or not to, I guess, see what you search, you could just turn these off and protect your privacy, essentially. And I believe that's the only thing I have for privacy settings. And now we'll go to the last section, which is upgrade and security. So over here for upgrade and security, you'll be able to see the first thing, which is upgrade to Windows 11. It's free. For now, I'm not going to do it, so I'm just going to ignore it. But if you want to check for updates, you can simply just click on this button right here that says check for updates. It should automatically adjust or find updates. And I believe I'm up to date, but nonetheless, we'll be going to see, I guess, my update history. In case that you have uninstalled something that you install, you could simply do this by clicking on the Uninstall Updates right here. I believe that should give you the option to uninstall a specific update, I believe. But I'm not going to mess around with that. And you'll be able to see the updates as you do, and if they're successful or not successful. And up here, so I have two updates here. Delivery optimization. Oh, backup. So I think a lot of people as well know how to back up files from their phone, like their iPhone or the Android device. You could do this with the Windows device as well. Simply have an external drive, which would be of a similar size that you're trying to back up. So for me, I'd have to have an external drive or a memory stick or a USB stick of 900 GB or more just to back up my files. You'd click on add a drive. Since I don't have any drives connected, it's going to show no usable drives found. But if you have a drive that's connected, you can simply back up all your files and your history onto that drive, and your device is pretty much backed up. And from here, I think we're going to troubleshoot. I guess in the scenario that you're having difficulties with a specific issue, you could always go to troubleshoot, additional troubleshooters right here. And you should be able to see troubleshooters from internet connections all the way to speech and Windows Stores apps. Again, each troubleshooter is going to uniquely try to find a problem to the issue that you're having, and it'll try to fix it to the best of its ability. And with that, I believe the last thing we have to cover is find my device. So I believe this should be on for most devices, but if you don't see this on, you can simply tap on this change button right here. And you have the option to either turn on or off. I'll keep it on for myself. And in case that your device is actually lost, you can click on this link right here, account.microsoft.com/devices. And it should pop up something like this where you sign into your email. It prompts you for your password and it'll be able to show where your device is currently. And with that, I think that is the end of our webinar. Thank you, everyone.